Two receivers to the left side, the far side, one back here to the near side. High snap to Jones, pulls it down, rolls left, throws, caught, and dropped right at the 34-yard line, a couple of yards, or the 44-yard line, correction. Again, it's Greer Stone on the catch. Actually, it's Justin Gray, a 6 foot, 190-pound tight end, a junior. And he's going to be stopped short of the first down by Johnson. Nice hit by Dominic Johnson. And yes, he is the son of Dennis Johnson, the head coach. We're through one quarter of play, and it's a total reversal of a week ago. Yellow Jackets lead 13-0 over West Jessamine. We'll be back to Community Stadium with more of high school football. Big play for the Yellow Jacket defense here as we get ready for the second quarter of action. It's 4th and 2. West Jessamine going for it from the Woodford County 44. Burnaby and Conley are the linebackers. They go out in the flat to Chang, who was wide open. Somebody forgot him out of the backfield. That should have been the outside linebacker's responsibility, and West Jessamine gets a first down at the Woodford County 39.
That was a giant gap out there in the flat. Woodford County's been coming up so hard and putting so much pressure. They really are taking advantage overall of what's happening.
When you blitz, that leaves you predominantly in man-to-man coverage. And what I was saying before, Andy, the corners for Woodford are predominantly putting the two corners almost on an island. They're playing press coverage, which is a man-to-man.
Yeah, and the back out of the backfield, that's the outside linebacker's responsibility. He's supposed to come up, but I think he came over to the center there.
A bunch formation here to the near side, and the tight end on the right side, I'd say rocked out of his stance, but he literally almost took a nose plant.
Yeah, that's exactly right. West Jessamine has not had one first down without a penalty, I don't think, tonight. Maybe that last no, not even the last series.
Yeah, they've had a penalty somewhere.
They haven't had a first down without a penalty. Mm-hmm. It's been procedure.
Unsportsmanlike conducts.
Yep.
Personal fouls. Same formation. Chang to the right of Jones, who's in the shotgun. Gets it over the middle, and, man, how did he catch that? That's that mysterious player, number 11, who we do not have his name. Actually, we do. Jonathan Deal. It was 21 we don't have. That's Jonathan Deal, 5'9", 137, and a sophomore.
Well, Jonathan did a good job catching that ball, but you got to remember the middle linebacker there is 5'5", 5'6", standing on his toes.
On a good day.
Burnaby, and
on a good day.
even when he is doing a good job covering, it's hard for him to get up there.
Well, he was draped all over Deal, and they're going to get him for pass interference, even though Deal caught the football.
Right.
And this is an issue that Woodford's had for the last several years, and I'm talking. You and I go way back with this thing about 7 or 8 years. Huge penalties at inopportune times in games where it's close. You give up a first down by penalty. You lose a first down by penalty. Just sometimes, Andy, it is a mental mistake and a lack of focus.
No, that's right, and that's when that stuff happens, it's part of high school football.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of football.
It's even NFL football,
right? But you see it in high school. That's one of the nice things about high school is that it's not perfect,
right?
And when the kids are playing well, it's a lot of fun to watch. When they make mistakes, it's going to happen.
It gets ugly.
And it's part of it.
And we've seen the worst part of it a couple of years ago at Spencer County, 25 penalties in one game, 15 of them of the 15-yard variety.
That's right.
High snap. Jones pulls it down, gives it off to Chang. Nice step and a break of a tackle, and then he drags a couple of players down to the 15-yard line. And it's going to be 16. They're getting the 16, so it'll be second down and 1. And Coach Dennis Johnson has seen enough as the arm tackling all of a sudden here in the start of the second quarter, and actually the tail end of the first quarter, has reared its ugly head. Other games around the Commonwealth, I know Franklin County is at home tonight. I can't remember exactly who they play. A big one in Lexington, though, however, at the Bluegrass Bowl, probably is somewhere in the latter stages of the game or is probably over by now. And it is Lexington Catholic host of the Bluegrass Bowl, but it is St. X and Henry Clay. And I know I was telling you about the game I did last year with Bryan Station and Henry Clay, and I told Gary Ball as I was texting him as he was doing a game down in Louisville, I said he was doing Male Manual, which is the oldest rivalry in the state of Kentucky, those two schools. Everybody thinks Trinity St. X, but it's Male Manual. They had a 7-3 game at halftime. We're in the middle of the second quarter, and I said we got a defensive struggle. He texted me back and said, what's the score? I said 35-all. And believe it or not, there were 4 stops defensively in the game. 2 on either side. Each team had a couple of turnovers. There were 4 punts in the game.
Right.
It was just one play, 75-yard touchdown. One play, 50-yard touchdown. It was that kind of a game.
Right.
I don't expect that with St. X and Henry Clay tonight, but when Henry Clay, Bryan Station are playing, look for the score because it could be a basketball score. Actually, they outscored their basketball teams in both games, combined that one football game.
Right.
Jones looking into the flat. He has his man out there, and there's Mr. Unidentifiable, and he's going to get the first down at the 14. However, we have a flag back at the 19-yard line right in the center
I saw
of the action.
Saw a helmet come out there, Darren. I don't know if they're going to – he's got to come out of the game now that his helmet's come off. 62 does, or 52 does.
Yeah, it's a personal foul, blow to the head on a Yellow Jacket, and I don't know who it was that was tangled up with Justin Huff for West Jessamine. But Woodford now making some mental mistakes. Again, the poor tackling, and Coach Johnson called timeout to let his ball club know he wasn't pleased with that. And it's a personal foul, blow to the head. And I don't know who that was on, but those are the kind of penalties you cannot give teams, especially teams who you theoretically are out-manning. And you know, no disrespect to West Jessamine, but right now the Jackets are favored heavily in this game.
They are, but West has found their legs here and have figured out that what they need to do.
They go out that flat again on 1st and goal from the 8. And I believe that was Greer Stone, the freshman tight end, number 85 for West Jessamine. And what it is, Andy, they're hitting that little flat 5-yard to 10-yard hitch, and they're exploiting the Jackets with that right now.
They're really taking advantage of that pressure. And I think Coach Johnson has got to figure out what he's going to do there on the edge if he wants to keep trying to bring pressure and make the quarterback make a mistake and take that chance, or if they want to back up and send somebody into coverage out there. 2
tight ends in now, 2 receivers to the left. They turn, give it off to Chang up the middle, met at the goal line. Doesn't look like he got there.
Yeah,
touchdown. Looked like he may have gone down a little bit before the goal line, but the official on the far side came in with his hands up. And Tommy Chang with the touchdown for West Jessamine, and they're on the board trailing 13-6 with 9:36 to play in the first half. So Woodford County helped that drive with West Jessamine with a couple of penalties. But let's give the Colts credit. They absolutely did what they had to do, and that was score. And they did it with a short passing game. The extra point attempt by Chang. High snap. The snap is down. Chang's kick up, and the kick is good. So with 9:36 to play, Woodford County's lead cut to 6. It's the Jackets 16, Colts 7. Back with more on high school football on PrepSpin.com. Chang to kick off. Back deep for the Jackets. The front man is Trey Wingfield. The back man is D. Depp. And I'm just waiting for Depp to break one on the kickoff. He's come close a couple of times a week ago. This one down the middle of the field. This one's going to sail into the end zone. And you and I have talked about this before, Andy, and Max kind of, I don't know. But it rewards a kicker for the high school. And not a lot of high schools have really good kickers with legs like Chang has. But if you've got a great returner, it takes him out of the game.
Right.
So either move the kickoff back to the 35 for high school, or let the return man bring it out of the end zone if they choose.
Well,
which one do you want?
It's a safety thing.
I agree, but
and you can't if they're in high school when the kicker kicks it deep and is able to get into the end zone, you're out kicking the ability to block for that guy.
Right.
And you're spreading the field out, so you're opening things up to injury if that's what you're going to do.
Right. High formation. They turn, give it off to Wingfield, right up the middle behind Burnaby. Skips over a tackler, dodges another one at the 30, over the 40 to the 41-yard line. And Wingfield, boy, you can tell those wheels are a whole lot more healthy than it was a year ago.
I'll tell you, and he's gaining confidence. And every time he touches the football, he gains a little bit more confidence. And he's keeping his leg moving, keeping his eyes downfield. He's seeing things open up, and you can see that as he's looking around. Because you don't make moves like that when something happens. He's got to be a full step ahead of everybody on there.
We have a hold with the flag right at the 40-yard line. I credit Coach Yancey Markham, the head man of the Colts. He was right in the ear of the official, and the flag came out.
Yeah.
Didn't see the hold, but he's been barking at that linesman over there all night long.
I'll say he's been working that call every play. And
however, it takes a 20-yard gain away from Woodford County and only makes it a 10-yard gain for Wingfield. It still is a Woodford first down. Almost said UK. I'm ready for Cats to start.
I think we all are.
Next Saturday night, 7 o'clock.
You
know where I'll be.
Give West Jessamine a little credit here. They're really not giving up on this, and it's going to make this game interesting.
Four-man front this time from the Colts. They turn, give it off to Burnaby. Nice block up front. Breaks the tackle at the 40. Still trying to drag tacklers forward. And he's down at the 42-yard line. The guy who had a hold of his shirt tail was Chance Kaufman, 5'10 and a half, 185, a freshman. And he went on for the ride that is Amir Burnaby.
And that time was one of the rare times Burnaby didn't have contact at the line. And I think that you can imagine what it's like. You're 5'5", 5'6". You've got a bunch of 6'6", 300-pounders in front of you. They can't see him.
No.
Linebackers can't see him. He pops out of there and says, where'd he come from?
He told me last week, he said, I can stand straight up behind him, run through the line, and I'm still behind them. They can't see me. Give it off to Wingfield, and a nice play. They fake it. Thurman going long for Richards. A lot of contact, and no flag coming. I thought maybe that was Deal, the older Deal. This is Cameron Deal, the senior. Number 12 for West Jessamine. Nice play fake from Thurman had me fooled. I thought Wingfield had a good job of faking with Wingfield as well, but he had Richards open. Ball a little bit underthrown. If he hits him in stride, that might be 6.
That may be, and that was a great pass on it. He actually, the defender came over the top and had a hand on the football there, and did a really artful job of keeping his hand off the middle of his back and still being able to knock the ball down over his shoulder pad. You had to give a lot of credit to the West Jessamine.
2nd and 10. They give it off to Winkfield. Says Seth Jost, get out of my way. That's his lineman. Now he dodges another tackler at the 42, and that's Justin Chastain.
Winkfield's vision downfield is just really impressive.
I don't mean to compare him to anybody, but would that look like a move that Sweetness, Walter Payton used to do? Just kind of give you a leg and take it away? And I'm saying looks like. I didn't compare him to him. I said looks a little bit like.
Okay.
How about that? I'm showing my age, too. I remember Sweetness playing. Dave, that's the voice of Dave Noble with the
we don't want our producer to be nervous or anything. That his mentor just came in to look over his shoulders. He's producing this show.
Casey Cooley.
Casey Cooley, our new media director and
you know,
protege.
I thought Dave Noble was supposed to be retired.
Noble.
You just can't keep him away from him. Can't keep him away from the school. Can't keep him away from the broadcast position. I get the feeling with that little motion he just made, he's not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be somewhere else. Maybe the grocery store. Timeout on the field, and I believe it's called by West Jessamine. 8:13 to play, 13-7, Woodford County for halftime. Let's mention this. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the marching band at halftime, but the marching band is going to be at Adair County High School for their very first competition of the 2015 season. They actually finished, I believe, 5th in the state in their classification. That's the highest in a long time for a Woodford County marching band.
And this year, just like the football team, we got new leadership. New band director,
Michael Collins
down there, and he's taken over both the middle school and the high school program.
Does a great job so far.
So far, they're looking good. They're having fun. I know that my daughter, a new middle schooler, 6th grader, has taken up the trombone this year.
You're getting old.
And she's very excited. So
she's playing the trombone.
She's playing the trombone, and she's also in the orchestra playing the viola. So there's
your pub.
There's my pub.
There you go.
But they're very excited down there. I got a chance to meet him a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I know the whole
really
band
good guy.
Really worked out.
And here's the rub. He also was in the University of Kentucky marching band with former director John Bomer.
A little reverse.
Here goes Burnaby. Gets a good block to get him around the corner from Kane. If your deal, you don't want to wait on Burnaby to come get you because he'll knock you flat.
Right. And Burnaby did a good job getting to the sideline there. But, that's another thing. You run that reverse with the size. You've got a wall in front of you, and he's able to hide. Nobody knew who had the football. The entire West Jessamine defense froze for about a half a step. Burnaby doing a great job. He's not blazing fast in the open field.
No, he's not.
But he does a great job looking downfield and finding the yards where they're given to him.
Well, Mac and I were trying to figure out, Andy, who he reminded us of with that build. And the only guys we can come up with were guys in the NFL. Don Nottingham, who played for the Dolphins, and Robert Newhouse. He's built low to the ground and just real low center of gravity. Gets a great block for Winkfield. Cuts it out to the 10. Stiff arms a man there and he's run out of bounds about the 8-yard line.
Well, that time Winkfield ran away from a block, but he didn't keep him from making a good run. Winkfield gets downfield.
I tell you what, I'm glad to see Trey healthy, because if we could have had him maybe a year ago or even 2 years ago as a sophomore and a junior, and you line him up as a opposing halfback to Kane Maxbury, no disrespect to the other guys who played that spot, now you got a dual threat and you got a fullback like Burnaby that gives you 4 options in that backfield out of the wishbone that the Jackets played for a couple of years. They go first and goal at the Woodford or at the West Jessamine 7, so they gave him to the 7-yard line. And quickly, I think Winkfield's approaching 100 yards. Burnaby
straight ahead there.
To about the 3. This time he went behind the left guard. That was Seth Jost, who got a nice block, and Young. And they do, I guess, Andy, since you were down there, you know a little bit more about the high school ranks. We used to call that the middle school under Coach Joe Card Sr. A bend fold, which just meant the guard went one way and the tackle came right behind him off his backside. It's a little trap play.
Yep, just a little trap up the middle. I think every team's got it, little bread and butter.
Yeah, and if they don't, they need to. I formation. Jenkins, the tight end, to the left side. Kane to the right. Depp to the left. Give it to Winkfield. Good grief, what a hole. And nobody touches him until he's 2 yards in the end zone. Give another rushing touchdown, the 3rd of the night for Winkfield. 7 on the season for Winkfield, and the Jackets lead it 19-7.
Well, if Trey Winkfield wasn't on the coach's radar when the season started,
he is now.
He might be after tonight. 3 in the first half. 2 for a night is a great game for any running back. He's got 3 in the first half, 4 last week. It's a big night for Trey Winkfield, a big
Huge.
season, couple games in a row.
Now, if he's not on any college team's radar, he certainly is starting to make some impressions for some college scouts. Lippert with the extra point is straight through, and the Jackets increase their lead back to 13. with 7:17 to play before halftime. It's Woodford County 20, West Jessamine 7. Back with more on PrepSpin.com. Back to Community Stadium, the third rushing touchdown of the night for Trey Winkfield. The Jackets lead at 20-7. And Winkfield, we don't have stats up here. Jay Lucas is supposed to be keeping them in the press box next to us.
We're
missing play-by-play, stat keeper, photographer. He did it all for the press box at one point in time, Matt Calvert. Of course, his son Landon getting married tomorrow. They're having the rehearsal dinner this evening. And I told Mac, take a picture. I want to see you in your tuxedo. Short kick taken by an up man, and he didn't want any part of, was that Corum?
14.
That's Charlie Corman. The biggest rise on kick coverage team a week ago came from Charlie Corman when he blew up the North Bull Eagle guy right here to the left of us as we sit in the press box. That was a picture-perfect form tackle a week ago, and again, Corum was actually squared up nicely to make another nice tackle there. He's only a freshman, too.
I believe the PA announcer said, introducing Charlie Corum, freshman.
Steve
to
Tressler.
The Woodford County faithful. It was a great hit, great tackle, great
new
call.
PA guy here at Community Stadium, Steve Tressler. I've known Steve a long time. He is also an Army veteran. He was to the Middle East 4 times. Good guy. Unbalanced line to the right. They have double tight ends. Turn freshman Lee Kane. Up. I think there's a penalty flag somewhere.
Deciding on a measurement here. They're going to bring out the sticks and see if West was able to put it over the line.
If I know the guy in the white hat as well as I think I do, Herb Wilson, he was probably asking where they all wanted to go eat after this game. I love Herb to death. I give him a hard time, so. Dave Noble back here giving me a hard time. Dave, you're the cause of this. You know that, right? You created this monster. How long did you teach at Woodford County, Dave?
140
years. 172 years. We got to keep an LP up here, right? 40 years of teaching at Woodford County High School. Unbelievable. He taught me. I don't know if he wants to claim that one or not, Andy.
I wouldn't.
Same formation. They got the receivers to the right side this time. Jones pulls down another high snap. Hamlin hanging on him. He lets it fly. Did Nash get his second interception of the year? He did.
Yep.
Ben Nash. That's D. Depp.
Yep, that's D.
D. Depp with his first interception of the year. The Jackets create a third interception on the year for a turnover, and they get it right at midfield, 20-7. And Jones threw that one into a whole bunch of black jerseys.
He was being chased down and let it go, probably an ill-advised.
Last year, and had to see him back and fully healthy. They run the triple option, give it off to Burnaby on the read there on the left side. And again, first contact does not bring down the little fire plug. I tell you, he is every bit of the 200. Well, they actually list him at 195, but I bet you he's at 200.
He told me last year he had some cramps. It may have been West Jessamine game. I went out to help him get off the field, and I tried to lift him. And
I noticed you had both hands on one leg.
He said, "How much do you?" I said, "How much do you weigh?" He said, "Coach, I don't weigh 200 pounds." So what do you weigh? He goes, "About 199."
Like it mattered. They go back to the option. They give it off to Burnaby. Bounces off 2 tacklers into the open field. Now cuts it upfield at the 30. Flag comes in. Now comes down to the 9, to the 8-yard line. You're getting a block in the back. And that, boy, but look at the linemen. Andy, you pointed this out. All 5 linemen, the line of scrimmage was the 42, are down at the 20.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see the linemen going with the play, not watching the play.
And we're going to get a hold.
We're going to get a hold, and that was probably closer to a block in the back. But
right.
Won't erase too much of that play. That was a
Now, this team is fun to watch because you got Burnaby, you got Winkfield, and you still have Eldridge, who you haven't seen run the ball.
I was just going to say we haven't heard
and now you're getting Michael Eldridge into the ball game now, and now you got 2 guys with some really significant increase in speed from Burnaby, who is the bruiser.
Right, and that's the versatility of this team, and I get the sense that we're going to see a lot more Eldridge and a lot more of just a regular rotation around across the board, but especially when we get into district play.
I had a guy that I knew from Harrison County that was on the coaching staff, and he said he asked one of his players last year what it was like to tackle Amir Burnaby. He says like trying to hit a runaway freight train.
Yeah.
Pretty good, accurate description. On the double move, they go down the field to depth. Boy, a lot of contact and no flag. Wow.
Yeah, they're going to say he wasn't close enough to the football or something, but the ball was in the air and they knocked him down. That's illegal.
Not only knocked him down, but he had his hands all on him and holding him. And Coach Dennis Johnson,
you can make contact as long as the ball's not in the air.
Why not? And
they said he was returning the referee is trying to explain that
returning the push.
Returning the push or something like that.
Never heard that one before.
Well, said they were given and taken, so.
Well. 5:35 to play before halftime. Jackets 2nd and 10. They give it off on a jet sweep to depth, trying to get around the corner. Does. Cuts it at the 30, to the 25, the 20, then gets drilled at the 19, and a flag behind the play. A couple of them. One right in the center at the 28 and one over there at the 24.
Well, one of the issues when you have a big line like this, and we'll see which way this call goes, when you have guys that outsize the other side so much, when they make contact and pancake somebody, I've seen this several times. Woodford County get called for holding when they just run somebody over, fall down on top of them.
That's called a pancake to the Superman, correct? Let's use the terms, right?
No, that's when you see that happen. It's an interesting call. And we got personal foul.
A dead ball personal foul. And I don't know who that's on the far side. Well, I'll assume Grand Kane as he's coming out because he was the wide out trying to block with a behind the play. So it's a double penalty on the Jackets. Takes away a first down carry for Depp on the sweep.
I think we had 52 on that.
I think they got him for the personal foul behind the play.
It's
2nd down and about 25 from the Woodford County 48-yard line. And you can hear another nice crowd here at Community Stadium, Andy, voicing their displeasure with his officiating crew.
Well, that's going to happen. But that may have been a legitimate call on the backside. I didn't
see it. I was watching the ball, so we'll give the guys in the stripes the benefit of the doubt there. Mix over the football. He has Thurmond in, and we're going to get a whistle. And what do we got? Is that Coach Markham? I tell you what, 2 coaches in this area of the state spend more time out by the numbers since Joe Carr Sr. retired from coaching, and that's Yancey Markham and Jim McKee from Scott County. Those 2 coaches are always out by the numbers. Now, when I started coaching, my job was to keep Joe Carr Sr. off the field.
Well, it looks to me like he was questioning the ball placement, and it may end up.
I think they're talking about the dead ball personal foul, so the stick should stay where it is.
Stay there, yeah.
So.
But again, that's 2 calls he's made and changed during this game. That's 2. He had the holding penalty on the other side that he called, and the flag came out over there. And now it's the 2nd time he stopped play, and the referees have changed their.
It's the same way of a basketball coach working official during a game, getting a foul late in the game that may not have been called early in the game.
It's one of the only advantages you can take is you have the sticks on your side.
That's correct. So it's now 2nd down and 29. I'm going to trust Brad Hudson, the clock keeper up here, about his down and distance. Thurmond looking right side, has nobody available, tucks it.
Yeah, he
cuts it up at the 45, the 50, to the 45, the 40 in West Jessamine territory, 35, 30, and tripped up from behind by number 3. That is Alan Horn, a 5'10", 137-pound freshman. No, that's a sophomore.
Now, West Jessamine is working really hard on trying to bait Woodford County into another personal foul, and Coach Johnson came out on the field that time and yelling at his players to get back and run a play. He was running blocker, and he's 6'7". I'm not going to guess a weight. 6'7", going in there, former defensive end for the University of Kentucky. You're not going to argue with him.
I even say yes, sir, to him. He's a big man.
Yes, sir.
A gain of 25 for Thurman to bring up 3rd and 4 as we move on the 5-minute mark. They turn, give it off to Eldridge up the middle to the 21, and it'll be a first down. Jackets. He went right behind his center, Ryan Mix, who is the small guy on that line.
Right.
If you consider 275 pounds small. And he goes a legit 6'2", 6'3".
They're big guys.
Well, 300 pounds. I mean, Dave Knowles has been around a long time, too. This Woodford County offensive line outweighs any offensive line we've ever had. When you average 300 from tackle to tackle.
They're big guys.
They're big guys, and they're not fat. They are all solidly built. Because some guys you see they're big. They got that little big roly-poly belly down there, but not this group. This group, you see them without their pads on, they are very well built. They give it off to Winkfield to the 20. Sidesteps a tackler there. Goes in standing. Touchdown, Trey Winkfield.
That was a lateral step. My goodness, he was stuck.
Woo!
He took 3 steps with half a step and then turned on the Jets. That was a heck of a move, big time move.
Nathan Chandler, number 6 for West Jessamine, had him lined up in his sights and was licking his chops to lay the knockout blow. Winkfield took a quick stick to his left. Chandler reaching for air.
Wow, I mean that was one heck of a move for Winkfield. He had 2 defenders right in front of him, squared up, broken down, and then he broke them down and took it to the house. My goodness.
The old crossover dribble on the football field. He left him. I mean, Chandler had him zoned in. You could just tell he was salivating. Someone get a nice tackle and it'll make the highlight reel? No.
Woodford's going to go for 2 here.
Yep, they bring Winkfield in motion. Thurman dives in for the 2-point conversion. That was a jet sweep look. He pulled it, cut it back to the right, got a nice block on the outside there by his tight end, Jacob Jenkins. And the Jackets increased their lead to 3 touchdowns, 28-7 with 4:36 to play before halftime.
Well, they got their missed extra points back on that, and Trey Thurman did a great job. The thing is that you go to Winkfield, you go into Burnaby, you go back
Eldridge.
to Winkfield, you go to Eldridge, and then you forget about the fact that the 6'3" quarterback can
That's
move.
215 pounds.
And he can run. And
so cover a lot of ground with those long legs, and I don't think he really needed to dive there, expose himself, but he got it in anyway.
He's got 2 points.
There you go, and it's 28-7. And a lot of people, Mr. Noble, I call him Mr. Noble. I'm supposed to call him Dave since I've been out of school so long, right?
No,
Can't do that.
He's always
Mr. Noble. But this staff, I've known both those guys since they were young. I can't say little. They were never little. They were always big kids. But you see a guy in a yellow visor that kind of just follows Dennis around. He is semi-retired, according to Dennis. According to Alvis, he's retired. But that is Alvis Johnson, the father of Derek and Dennis. And I tell you what, a coach, and I'm going to make this plea, a coach who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for the KHSAA. And I don't know if he is or not. If he's not, he needs to be. Outstanding coach, sent a lot of guys to the college level to play football. Lippert kicks it off here to the near side. It's fielded in the air by is that another guy who is not on our roster? Or is that number 16?
We're going to get a late hit on Woodford County here. And maybe even a spearing call.
Might be on Charlie Corum. So for everything Charlie's done well so far, that may be a penalty on the young freshman. But you like his aggressiveness. He's just got to curtail it just a hair.
Yeah.
And it is a personal foul on the Jackets. Now, of everything that's gone right here in the first half, I know Coach Johnson has something he can go in at halftime and talk about cleaning up the unnecessary penalties, especially the personal foul variety.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something a coach can talk about at halftime, no matter what's gone right in a half.
Well, anytime you have a first down or a second down and 30,
right,
you've got something to talk about.
a lot to talk about. I wished I knew the rest of the coaching staff. One guy I do know on that Woodford County coaching staff is a guy that's the offensive coordinator. You see him walking down the white shirt, named Dr. Tim Rose. I've coached against him for many years at the middle school level. Been after him to try to get a job up here on the staff, and I finally got him. Took me 30 years, but I got him. Give it off to Chang again up the middle. It'll be 2nd down and 8, a gain of 2 as he gets it over the mid-stripe near the Woodford County 49-yard line. And he is one of these guys who likes the air raid offense, but he puts a big premium on being able to run the football and being physical. And I asked him, what's he going to run? He said, well, I'll bet you $100 you'll know 75% of the formations what play is going to lead to. He's right. I've noticed a few of them, but he's a very creative mind. He'll get to different plays out of different formations in various ways. 2nd down and 8. Actually, they gave him only a yard right to the midfield stripe. Jones back to throw. Stork being held on the backside, and can we dance? Ball is knocked away, or actually it's caught, but all for naught. It's coming back. And Stork looked like he was.
Well, Stork had separation there. He got some separation from the blocker, and the blocker extended his hands. He had a hold of a 3 and a 1 there, and that's two times Stork has had his man beat that he has caused a holding penalty. And that's, he's not the biggest defensive end out there. He's not 6 feet tall.
He's strong,
he may be 165, 170 pounds.
Well, they listed him at 195.
Okay.
Coaches don't embellish, right?
No, never.
Never.
No. I was always listed at 6'3", 220.
For some reason, I don't picture that.
No. Well,
with rocks in your shoes, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay. But, you're right.
He's not the biggest guy, but he's quick and he's tough, and he's a hard-nosed football player. And that's twice now. He's beaten a guy that's bigger than him, obviously not quicker, and caused him to hold him. But he also has made some great tackles inside, which is hard for a player who's sitting out there on the outside. 2 or 3 times tonight, he's been to the dive man, and that's not an easy tackle to make when you're playing from the defensive end.
Because you got to watch for somebody coming back after your direction.
It's a long way to go in a lateral move.
Jones throws across the middle of the tight end, caught by that's Greer. I tell you what, I'm impressed with Greer. That's Greer Stone. They list him at 6'1", 185. He's a freshman. And for a freshman to play tight end at any level, and then because you're basically going to hang out there in the middle.
Right.
And he's an undersized tight end at 185. And you got Burnaby hanging out in the middle, I'd be peeking.
That tight end quick up there, you caught a linebacker cheating up, getting out of his zone, and I didn't see a blitz on. It looked like the linebacker just came up to play run.
You have Leo Smart in there now playing one of the linebacker spots in the middle. Trying to see who that number is. Jones back to throw. Has a lot of room over here across the 45 to the 40. Looking for a block. He'll get inside Woodford County territory to the 44. It'll be 4th down and 3 with 2:50 the clock running before halftime. Good decision by Jones there. And showing some maturity as a junior because he did not play at all a year ago in this game with the Jackets. He's 6'1", 180.
Well, and they came up short. West doesn't have a choice but to go for it here as Big Seth Jost comes in to replace probably one of the defensive tackles there. He's
now think about this. The
Mr.
young man
Washington
we talked about earlier, Ben Bruckner, didn't play football at all the last 2 years, correct? He's a junior. He's playing the middle linebacker, playing the Mike linebacker.
Right.
That's a lot of responsibility on the young player.
It is.
With not a lot of experience.
Well, he played his freshman year, took last year off. And this year he's worked his way into the starting rotation for Woodford County.
And in case anybody's wondering, yes, that is the son of Kimball Bruckner, who's a wrestler here at Woodford County. Did he play football too, Kimball, Dave? Bolesky's mom, all the way out in Utah, who's actually listening and watching the broadcast out there. A couple of weeks ago, on her elbow, and shattered the tip of the elbow off. And I saw the x-rays for it, and it's got a cage holding the elbow together. She's out listening, so I don't know Tracy's maiden name, but she knows who it is. So you hope she gets better. She's convalescing well at home. Also want to say hello down in Lubbock, Texas. And I swore to his mom I wasn't going to say this because I coached the young man when he was a 7th grader and 8th grader and freshman. Anyway, Dr. Eric Soboleski, a professor Texas taught his first class a week ago. And I bet it was very entertaining because he was always an entertaining quarterback for me to try to reel in. He always had a play for me to play. But he is convalescing from a huge gash on his knee that he fell down some steps. They throw across the middle, first down, and I think that's Greer Stone again. It is. Now, Andy, you've been around football a long time. I don't know what position you played. Did you play tight end?
I did play some tight end.
How tough is it for an older player to come across the middle, let alone a freshman?
Well, it's a tough place to be, especially when linebackers are hitting, and I would much prefer to be a linebacker in that position.
Thank you.
I think the tight end has to be a tough kid and has to have a good head and know where they are on the field, know where the defense is on the field.
And be fearless. Twin receivers here to the near side, one to the right side, and we have a stoppage of play, and I think both receivers here on the near side.
Well, we were talking about the tight end, and one of the things about playing tight end, when you know you're going to get the football, when you're the hot receiver,
you get a little excited.
And when you're in an offense maybe that doesn't throw to the tight end that much, you get all excited and you want to jump that. He was on a straightaway streak pattern. He was running right at the post there, and he was already moving 2 steps before the ball did.
Well, I tell you what, Woodford has been blessed with really good tight ends over the years. One comes to mind with Dave's in here, Mike Wallace, the late Mike Wallace, who played on the 1978 state runner-up team. A captain, went to the U.S. Navy, served, 20-some-odd years in the Navy. Really, really good tight end. Jenkins, flags everywhere. Again, that's the young tackle for West Jessamine, number 79, Daniel Weigel. Now, again, I say young, he's a senior. 6'6", 275. You're out there blocking a defensive end. There's nobody covering you, so every official on the field threw a flag on that one. That was that obvious.
There was also a defensive hold that was pretty obvious downfield, so we're going to see what happens there.
Well, there's no flag down there for that, so let's see what we get here.
It's going to be interesting. They're having a conference. We're going to see which calls. There are 2 flags on the field, one in the backfield.
You know,
offset.
We're talking about 4 players on the Woodford County offensive starting line that are 300 pounds.
They did call holding
on
both
defense
ways.
They so the offsets will do it again. But you know, one of the guys we forget, and they list him at 287, is Helio Reyes, a senior, out for the second or third year for football.
Second year playing football. Last year was his first year ever playing football. And the young man is one heck of a young hard worker.
He is, and always got a smile on his face, too. Jenkins pressuring Jones, takes the inside route. Here's a throw outside to
incomplete.
Yeah, that was Stone again.
Heck of a stick coming across there. Number 34.
That's Graham Kane.
Just laying the wood to the receiver there, and was not able to hold on to the football. It came popping up, and he's hurt.
He got hit right in the ribs. And that's one of those, as a quarterback, you're trying to get the ball over a defender who's in between you and your receiver. Then you're trying to get it down in front of a defensive back, and you leave your receiver out to dry, and he got hammered in the ribs.
At the very least, I think he had the wind knocked out of him.
At least. And we hope that's the only thing wrong with him. But again, Jackets showing better tackling technique, although on the scoring drive for West Jessamine, penalties and bad tackling helped West Jessamine to their touchdown, their only score of the night.
Right.
We want to tell everybody next week the Jackets will be back here at Community Stadium. They will be taking on the guys down the road, Franklin County. And it is a bitter rivalry in every sport. You can throw out whatever records are, whatever points you scored in your first 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And that is not Greer Stone. That's John Beasley, a young sophomore, 6'1", 153 pounds.
Well, he's up and he's off under his own power, sort of.
He's a little winded.
He's a little bit wobbly there. They'll take him off and do the concussion protocol and check on him, and hopefully that young man's okay.
Well, he slaps 5 with his head coach Yancey Markham. And now Yancey, we might mention too. Yancey played at Jessamine County. I don't think it was West Jessamine and East Jessamine at the time. I think it was Jessamine County at the time when Yancey played. He is a hometown boy, so he knows this rivalry all too well. Also want to say hi to Louis Musey. Saw him in Kroger the other day, and you want to talk about a fit guy? My goodness, I saw this guy in full pads do fingertip push-ups. Jones back to throw, setting the
Lot of
screen,
pressure.
no shot.
They came hard, double blitz off the corner there.
Well, they actually had a twist going on with the tackle in the end. Jenkins came free inside, and Young came around him.
And the twist will free up. Will free up. And they also, they brought everybody on that. They couldn't even run the screen on that. That shows some Woodford County speed up front.
Now that shows you how big, how athletic those big linemen are for Woodford. That was Young who made Jones say, "I'm going to hit the ground because I don't want to take this 310-pounder right in the grill." Jones has really gotten better as this game's gone along.
He has, and that was a good
for West.
A good choice on his part.
Yeah, 'cause I wouldn't want to. I tried to play quarterback one time, and that's about all I remember. I tried. That was the first time. John Calipari talked about the first time he got hit, and they gave him up. He broke his collarbone. He was looking out the ear hole.
Mm-hmm.
Happened to me. I said, I'm done. I want to play anything but quarterback. I'll be a center. I don't care. 113-pound center. What if you're Dennis Johnson now, Andy? You go in halftime. You got a 3-touchdown lead at the minimum right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to talk to your team about? I know we're going to point out the penalties, the unnecessary ones, because you got to clean those up.
First of all, I'm not Dennis Johnson.
True.
I don't know what he's going to
If you put yourself in his shoes, how about that?
Well, they'll find something. He'll probably go in with his assistants a little bit and say, what do we need to work on and what do we need to adjust? And they'll talk about that and then come out and talk to the team about it. They're looking for mistakes, mental mistakes. They're going to talk to them about don't let these guys bait you into personal fouls. And that's probably going to be the theme of the halftime.
Because if you get ejected, you miss next week, and it could be a huge loss depending on who is baited into that situation.
Right.
They get dump it down low to Chang, and he's going nowhere.
The defense did a great job.
Jacob Jenkins.
That second level did a great job of closing on that screen, recognizing the screen, and letting it develop and making a tackle.
I told him I was going to call him Sunshine. He didn't answer to Jacob when I see him in the halls. I have to call him Sunshine, and he'll turn around and say, yes, sir.
And that's you'll get it. It doesn't matter what you call him. He will turn around and say, yes, sir.
He's thank you, sir.
Yep.
And he transferred in here his freshman year from where?
I don't know.
I'll have to ask him.
I don't know.
I'll have to ask him.
I didn't realize he was a transfer.
I thought he
and his brother.
Yeah, I can't remember his brother's name. Graduated a year ago. I can't remember. But Jacob, I'm glad to see, as you mentioned, healthy for the first time in his high school career, and it's good to see. Clock is getting ready to run out here, and a whistle.
Timeout.
And timeout who? Delay of game.
Delay of game.
Now, Woodford's out of timeout, so they can't stop the clock.
Well, they wouldn't want to. It's fourth down. We're going to delay a game.
Yeah. Boy, when's the last time we've seen this many changes of personnel depending on down and distance from Woodford County, Andy? It's been a while. A lot of guys playing.
They're rotating a lot. They've got to rotate a lot of linebacker. They don't have a big linebacking core like they do in the front. And
we're not talking about size. We're talking about depth-wise.
Right.
Because we've been talking about size all night long. We have to clarify that.
Right. That's right. They're not very deep at linebacker, and they have to rotate people around depending on the situation. But they really do rely on that line to keep people off the linebackers, let them make plays. But he's got 3 or 4 guys there that don't have a lot of experience playing.
And his Bruckner may be playing in the linebacker spot
right
with limited experience. 5-yard penalty against Woodford County for too many men on the field. And again, Chang back to punt for West Jessamine. And here they come. And whoa. Catch it, Andy.
Well, I think the trombone player caught that.
That one came immediately. It looked like my drive off the tee box. It immediately made a left turn. 28-7. Back with halftime here at City Stadium on PrepSpin.com. Second half about ready to start. Woodford County leading 28-7 as we wait for the clock to run out and for them to reset it to 12 minutes. Winkfield and Depp are deep for the Jackets. Winkfield with an incredible first half, Andy. 8 carries, 198 yards, 4 scores.
It looks like we're going to get a run back here from D. Depp.
From the 5, he angles it off to the right. Has a seam, a bigger seam. Cuts it down the right sideline. Chang to stop him. No. Gets around him to 30, the 25, and bumped out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
We have a clean field on that. D. Depp opening it up. The only thing slowing him down was his own blockers. He couldn't get out from behind him. And my goodness, when he starts rolling those wheels, you're not going to catch him very easily.
They clocked him in preseason practice at 4.37.
That's a heck of a 40.
That's flying. Mm-hmm. Couldn't shoot me out of a cannon and get me going any faster than that.
I don't know if we can get you going that fast shooting out of a cannon.
And maybe even rolling me downhill, you might. There we go.
Okay.
I teed you up. You didn't take it.
Well, no, I'm letting it go.
Wow.
I'm letting it drop.
That was I'm
going to let that drop like you would down the hill. All right.
A 66-yard return to start the second half. A bump, guys.
It's a good start. It's a good start.
Huge start. Again, we mentioned Winkfield, 8 carries, 198 yards, and 4 scores in the first half of action. 71 of them came on the second play from scrimmage.
We talked to 2 people and got the single-game rushing record confirmed at 305 yards. Last year by Kane Maxmary, he broke his own uncle's record.
Against Montgomery County.
And we got that confirmed by Matt Calvert on the phone.
Yep. Mr. Stats, you don't argue. If he tells you it's that, it's that. Burnaby on the counter play. Comes across the 20, down to the 19, maybe the 18.
That time Burnaby ran away from the block, and he had a cut, and he didn't take it. He ran to the sidelines instead, and I'm sure Coach is going to – you see Coach motioning, you got to get up in there. Follow your block. Follow your block. It's there.
Justin Huff.
And we've got a flag laying on the field.
Wes Jessamine got an unsportsmanlike. He barking at the umpire.
My goodness. Well, Wes Jessamine has had that penalty flag just thrown at him all night.
And that's one of your very few seniors you have making a penalty like that. That's one that if you're maybe a junior with limited experience, even a senior with limited experience, you don't approve of it. But Huff's been around for a while. He's actually played quite a bit of football for West Jessamine.
Well,
you got to understand, yes, you're frustrated, but
I know the West Jessamine
bite your lip.
The West Jessamine coach has got to be frustrated by that. I mean, you don't want to see that when you see your team getting personal fouls like that thrown at you.
And you're getting manhandled up front by a line that some consider the best in the area. Of course, I know the bunch up at Lafayette would disagree with that. Quick pass out here to the flat to Richards, who gets a block downfield from Jacob Jenkins and takes it in for the touchdown. And somebody other than Trey Winkfield tonight put 6 on the board.
Somebody other than Trey Winkfield scored, and Trey Winkfield met him at the line.
Yep.
And he was the first man to him to congratulate him. That's outstanding. Spreading the ball around, and the senior showing some leadership coming back there. And
what a block. One play. We go 11 yards, and the Jackets lead 34-7 with 11:36 to play in quarter number 3.
And I don't know what West Jessamine's coach said to him at halftime, but my goodness, that'll take the air out of your sails.
Oh, it'll just take it right out of you. I don't care how experienced you are. You get blitz with a huge kickoff return, and Lippert sneaks it right in upside the left upright. Didn't get it all, but the young man gets it through. And I asked him the other day after last week's game, I said, "Are you having fun?" He said, this is great. And anybody that knows Max Lippert knows he's not a guy of a lot of words. It's very few words.
Well, he does a good job. I think he's really excited about being on this football team, and that's what you want. He may be sneaking some through the uprights and all of that, but
as long as it puts a point on the board, he doesn't care, right?
And you also want that attitude on the field.
Right.
He's doing a great job.
Well, I'll tell you, I got a comment. Andy, I've been not critical, but been wanting the students to come out and be vocal, and they have been in both games so far here in the 2015 season, out in full force, very vocal, very loud, and they have learned more than one cheer. They're doing a good job this year. And I went down and told them this afternoon when I got here, I really loved their feel of the game last week, and they've started early today. They were out here at about 5:30, 2 hours before kickoff, in full force. So
right. No, I saw them. They closed up the tailgate action at about 5:30. I was kind of surprised, 5:45, and they actually brought it in early to try and put this together. They have the white out going. They were throwing up some color dust out there at halftime. And
I hate to be the person that have to clean the stadium up after that, though.
No, you're good. You're not. It's not indoors.
35-7. Jackets will kick off as Lippert approaches the football. He'll hit it, and he'll come here to the 20-yard line, dropped and picked up by our mysterious player here. Good job of cutting him back in by the young man on the far side. And boy, I tell you, you got to quit reacting like that.
Yeah, that's not. You don't want to see the pushback at all. We'll see who this flag is on. I'm hoping the flag. It looked like it was thrown at the West Jessamine player, but number 15 there needs to not hit back at all. If it's on him, coach needs to get in his ear a little bit. But this time it's going to be on West. And honestly,
actually, the offset got them both.
Oh, they got them both.
Yep.
Okay, so they're offsetting. So coaches. There are more important things on the football field than your ego.
Right.
And mostly it's your teammates. You can't let the other 10 guys on the field down by doing something silly like that, getting in somebody's face or hitting back or pushing back and costing your team some much-needed yardage in a given situation. But you've got to keep your head. Nothing. I mean, your ego is not that important.
So West Jessamine begins with double tight ends. 2 receivers to the left side. They turn, give it off to Chang. And he'll get over the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Once again, Daniel Stork, man, getting it done from that outside defensive end position.
Well, I've got to find out who number 15 is for Woodford. He's not on our roster. We know 14 is Coram. 13 is J.T. Jones, and we've seen Brody McCowan, number 12. But at 15, I do not have his name. I wonder if Coach Lucas next door knows. Need to see if we can find somebody to find out here. Tell you, a lot of quarterbacks get their sprints in during a game by running from sideline to the huddle, after the play, back to the sideline.
Well, now we don't see a lot of – I mean, we don't even see a lot of set huddles a lot.
Not much, even at the high school level. Same formation for West Jessamine. They trail it 35-7.
The Tights are trying to drag that space again.
Jones in trouble, and they get it outside. He'll run out of bounds around the 30-yard line. But unfortunately for West Jessamine, the left tackle.
Yeah, I think we've got another hold on the back side back there.
It's actually here on the left side where Weigel, the left tackle for the Colts, is down. I think he's cramping up. He's having all kinds of issues with the Jackets' defensive ends on that side, whether it be Stork or Jenkins or even Clay Hamlin. Kyle Hamlin. He's having issues with them. He's been called for 3 or 4 holds tonight, and a couple of times more times could have probably been flagged for him.
Yeah,
he's cramping up, but he's having issues with Woodford County speed from that defensive end spot.
And that's good for Woodford County because speed from the defensive end spot hasn't been a phrase that you've heard a whole lot. It's really good to see Daniel Stork kind of coming into his own out there. He's a senior, but he's working really hard, and it's good to see him healthy. I know he's got the boot over his arm, but he had some health issues last year, and now he's really coming on. So hopefully that he can stay healthy throughout the year because he's going to harass people out there, I think, for the remainder of the season.
Well, I will tell you this, too. Tonight at around 5:30 up in Lexington, the Woodford County volleyball team off to a 4-1 start after a 4-set loss, 3-1 last night to Shelby County at home. We're playing the Jaguars of Cooper. Cooper, of course, out of northern Kentucky, knocked off the Jackets in the first round of the playoffs a year ago.
In football.
And
they had a big win against Highlands.
They beat Highlands to death. From what I heard of that game, and, of course, Mike Calvert's nephew, who missed the game against Woodford with a shoulder, I think a knee injury to his junior year, as a senior this year. His sister Jenny, who I went to school and graduated with, her son, and they were actually up 37-0 against Highlands. Highlands got 2 late touchdowns to make it look respectable, lost 37-13 to the Jaguars. And the volleyball team playing them earlier tonight don't have a report on that. So anybody listening, if you got a report, somehow if you know somebody in the stadium, text it to them and have them get it up here to us, and we'll report what they did. They'll be in action tomorrow. I think they'll play 2 or 3 matches tomorrow. That's taking place at Lafayette. Tomorrow night here at Community Stadium, the girls soccer team, who's off to a 4-1 start, lost 2-1 in the Fayette County Soccer Spectacular to Boyle County. They play Madison Central tomorrow night here at Community Stadium. Chang breaks a tackle at the 13, gets it over the 15, and is wrestled down at around the 20. It'll be third down and about 15, maybe 16 yards to go for West Jessamine. 10:15 to play. Clock rolling in the third quarter. Woodford County up 35-7. Also, I think coming up, a huge match, a huge girls soccer match next week, and I believe it's on Tuesday night, September the 1st, here at home against Franklin County. District opponent. The Jackets have won the district, I think, 5 years in a row. So looking forward. And I think the Jacket girls soccer team right now is ranked somewhere in the top 15, I believe.
No, that's not uncommon for Woodford County.
And the boys are just outside the top 10, I believe, and they are undefeated at 4-0. Got a big one, though, on Monday night against Tates Creek in Lexington. Here's a throw, and there is Stone wide open. He's right at the sticks, depends on the mark.
Well, if I'm taking notes on this film, that's what we're looking at. You see that taking advantage of that Woodford County secondary deep. Now, they've come away with a pick, but that was because of pressure on the quarterback. That's a soft spot right now, and Woodford County is going to have to
they're playing that press coverage.
West Jessamine doing a good job taking advantage of that. You were talking about the maturity of the quarterback for West Jessamine before, and you're absolutely right. He kind of had to sit back there a little bit, even though he's seen a lot of pressure.
And run, and I'm telling you, but I tell you what, I was impressed with Aaron Brown a week ago from North Bullitt. They had won one game a year ago, and those two running backs they got, Gividan and I can't remember the other guy's name, and then Brown, the quarterback, phenomenal. All three of those kids are tough as nails, and we have a whistle and I believe illegal procedure against West Jessamine.
Yep. That's the initial call, and we'll see.
And that's
another first down penalty.
11 or 12 penalties tonight.
That's another first down penalty.
Here's a huge score. Did you see that one a minute ago? I think it's a final from Louisville. Male 45, Ballard 7. Now, that's two traditionally rich football programs, and Male probably, according to a lot of people, the second best team in Louisville behind Trinity, who beat Innsworth, Tennessee last week 45-0 and held them to less than 100 yards of total offense. And Innsworth's one of the top teams in Tennessee year in and year out, regardless of class. 1st and 15, Jones. Flanker screen out here to the left side. This is Deal, who now runs across the field, cuts it up, and he ran into.
Great job by Kyle Hamlin running him down and closing off that edge. He got out there and stopped him. Hamlin showing some wheels to chase him down, get out, and break him back in and not give him the edge that he wanted and bring him back to his defense.
It's Hamlin.
Excellent job.
255.
Kyle Hamlin showing some wheels out there and running with the running back, getting out ahead of him and bringing him back.
And that was Bruckner who stuck his face mask right between the ones on the jersey of Jonathan Deal.
Boy, if you're a defensive coach, you're happy to see that. You see that whole thing coming all the way back across. Kyle Hamlin had to break that back.
Deal ran about 40 yards to get 3. 2nd and 12 from their own 35. We're under 8 minutes to play in the third. High snap again. Jones brings it down. Hamlin in pursuit. Throws across the middle and intercepted by Malik Richards. Yes, but a flag at the 41.
And we'll see what it is. Was it thrown by the umpire?
No, it came from the back judge all the way in the defensive backfield. And Malik Richards got both hands under the football. Let's see what we got here, though. Football on the turnover. I tell you what, I didn't see any contact across the middle of the field. There couldn't have been any more contact on that play than what was in the first half with D. Depp down the middle of the field.
Well, I didn't see it at all, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. Sometimes when you're back there, though, you'll see two players staggered and your perspective is off. I just saw him go up, and another player diving for the football, and it could have looked like a push in the back, but I didn't see it there. There were only two players out there by themselves during that play. And when the receiver goes up, puts his hands up, and kind of bends back, reaching for it, and there's somebody standing behind him, and you're behind that, it could look like that, and that may be where the flag came from. But
well, that's where one of the linesmen, the head linesman or the linesmen, which are situated on the line of scrimmage, should the first 3 games. This is a weird schedule for Woodford this year. They play the first 3 at home, then the next 2 are on the road. We'll go to Marion County back on September the 11th, and then the 18th we'll go down to Nelson County. 1st and 10 from the Woodford County 48. They give it off to the running back. Turns, bad move. He ran right into Kyle Hamlin.
Yeah, Hamlin coming over the top. Great pursuit coming down the line, working down the line, and
Hamlin had a full head of steam too.
And I'll tell you, what did you say? 250 pounds.
255.
He's all of that, and he can move.
And maybe then some. 6 foot, 255, and a senior for the Jackets.
And I was told that he was moving outside. He was going to play a little bit of defensive end this year, and I kind of cocked my head and went, really? And now we're seeing it, man. He can really move.
He can move. I tell you what, this defense tonight, outside of the one touchdown drive from West Jessamine and some other lapses in concentration, I think is flying around like Dennis and his staff want him to do. They give it off. Nope, fake it. Jones rolling, Hamlin after him. They throw it into the middle of the field. Caught. And dropped right at the 40-yard line.
Now that was a good.
And another flare-up of tempers a little bit.
It's a good run. I mean, a good route across the middle there. But the Woodford County's got a wrap. He tried to drop a shoulder to the defensive back there. He tried to drop a shoulder into the receiver instead of wrap him up, and that'll drive a coach crazy. I don't know if he's got a young guy out there. You said we got a freshman out there.
Yeah, he was on this side though. I think that was the outside linebacker that was gotten maybe a little wide.
Can't tackle by dropping your shoulder and letting him bounce off.
And again, that was our mystery player. We have no idea who 21, what his name is. Jones rolling left, throws it, intercepted and dropped. That was Bruckner. Nope, that's not Bruckner. Who is that? 21. That's 28. Is it 21 or 28?
21.
21. That's Jacob Woodford.
Oh, Woodford.
5'11", junior, 160 pounds.
Woodford did a great job getting up there. I don't know did Woodford play last year?
I don't remember him on the roster, but
I believe that he did.
Nice job of going up. Got a really good depth from his outside linebacker spot. And that was a really nice pass, though, by Jones. That's a tough pass for a right-handed quarterback, rolling left. Mm-hmm. And you got to get your shoulder squared to where you're going to throw it.
Absolutely.
And he did a good job of that. Floated it a little bit, but a really good play by Woodford.
Woodford pins their ears back or goes ahead and tries to cover that.
4th and 2, high snap, and we have a whistle to stop everything again. And a false start on the far side. Either we have a lot of penalties or that official's got some grease on his flag. He keeps flying out.
That right side
the whole flag
was really loose for West, and they tight end again, or the tackle on that side, excuse me.
We're going to have a little bit later, once we get everything squared away with our broadcast and things, we get everybody back together. 2 things next week when Mac comes back, Andy. One is we'll have some commercials. We'll have a trivia question about Woodford County football. Earlier tonight, I told you, 1978, a former Woodford County assistant and a head coach here, and he went back to his home school of West Jessamine, which, of course, is basically the old Jessamine County High School, and now he's at Mercer County, was the quarterback of 1978 Jessamine County team.
I don't
Graham
know
Heasley.
Much Woodford County trivia, but I actually know the answer to that. That's
Graham Heasley. So that may be a trivia question a little bit later, and that's going to be brought to you by Madison's Own Maine, Andrea Riker and her crew down there. Go down there. I'll tell you some of the best food you'll eat in
breakfast.
town. My goodness.
Best breakfast I've had in downtown Woodford County.
Well, if you ask for a plate-sized pancake, it's actually about an inch all the way around over the edge of the plate.
Good stuff.
My dad ordered it last fall when Buck Stewart was in town, and we all got together, a bunch of us down there, and ate breakfast on Saturday after the game on Friday. And Dad ordered and looked down and said, "I ordered a pancake. I didn't order a daggone whole bushel of them, and it's huge."
Yeah.
But go down and tell Andrew and Ollie we said hi. And again, Mac's not here tonight. Darren Douglas, Andy Smith with you tonight. And Mac getting rid of kid number 2 out of the house, being married. Landon, his son, is getting married tomorrow. Mac is being the host tonight of the rehearsal dinner, and we'll have him back. And by the way, Andy, the second thing I was going to talk about, when next week Mac and I actually get on the air, in some shape, form, or fashion, it will be 30 years that Mac and I have spent together.
And that's 34 for Mac.
34 for Mac.
So that means, am I shorting him a year?
He's starting. This is year number 34.
Okay. So that means he's spent only 4 years in freedom.
Wow. Oh. And Andy and I actually do like each other. It's just like another brother. In trouble is Jones, and Sunshine plants him.
Yep, you got
as well as Leo
Jenkins
Smart
in there, and Leo Smart
Drake Jackson, Sage.
As some of the old announcers
Young,
would say, a host of Yellow Jackets.
Swarm, which Roddy Williams, the original play-by-play. There's only been two in the history of Woodford County athletics on the air, whether it be radio in the days of the early days or the internet now. Roddy Williams and Mac Calvert.
Yep.
Roddy spent for about 10 years, and Mac in year number 34. Told Mac, you know what that means? He's just old. But he hasn't aged today. I mean, he really hasn't. He's done real well, and we look forward to having him back next week. Turnover on downs to the Jackets with 5:41 to play. Well, also, too, you got to spend a time with one of the Hall of Fame members who accompanied Larry Weathers. We were talking to Dave Knowles, shared some story about him in a minute. Here comes Burnaby around the right side, cuts it up over the 45, down to about the 42-yard line. Again, Graham Kane made the block to get him around the corner. I'll tell you what, the one thing about Graham Kane, he's not very big. They list him at 5'9", 155 pounds, but he'll stick his nose in there with anybody twice his size.
Absolutely.
Fear is not in his vocabulary.
Absolutely. I think he's got a whole host of guys, when you look at them, don't look that big, but they're tough guys.
Yeah, and if you could put his heart in the size of a guy maybe bigger, who knows what you could have. But you got to have those kind of guys. High snap. Thurman bobbled it, somehow got back on it at the Yellow Jacket 49. It'll be 3rd and 11.
What we were saying earlier about high school football.
And you never know what might happen.
There's your example.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going well, and somebody makes a little mistake, technique-wise or anything like that. You know, that's one of the things that's fun about watching high school football and some college football. And when you're watching the pros, the mistakes are little. They're a step wrong here, or you don't see big mistakes happen and all that.
If you do, your quarterback is
guys get fired.
Yeah,
and these folks,
either get fired or fined.
And here you got to come back and do it again.
They swing it out to the right side to Winkfield. First touch of the second half. Whoa! Look out at the 41. He's going to go to the 38 and get a first down for the Jackets. And we mentioned at halftime, 8 carries, 198 yards. He's 107 yards away on the ground from tying the single-game record set against Montgomery County. That was in October. I believe October the 11th was the date.
Yep.
Against Montgomery County here when Kane Maxberry ran for 305 yards, 5 scores, and it broke Tony Wilson's record.
His uncle.
Over when he carried the ball. I think it was 40.
His cousin.
Their cousin, I think. 45 times for 286 yards did Tony carry it that night. They turn, give it off to Depp on the jet sweep. He'll cut it up over the 40, gets a block from Malik. Cuts inside the 30, around, and he'll score. Touchdown, Woodford County, and
clean field.
All of a sudden, you're seeing some of that foot speed from what last year made up.
He's going back to his line. You got to love that about D. Depp. He goes right back to his line.
And he goes back to Graham Kane, who got another block down the field. Also, Trey Winkfield got a block as well. And it's 41-7, Woodford County with 3:54 to play in the third.
You talked about those blocks and these guys. I ran into Winky on the field out on the Light Festival the other day, and he said, "Look, if it's not me scoring, it's me blocking for somebody else scoring," and that's a heck of an attitude.
And it's a team. It's all about the team. And when guys check the egos at the door, there's no telling. And Max Lippert has the first in his career. He hit the upright. Takes a good kicker to hit that upright like that.
It's better kicker to hit the upright and have it fall in.
Yeah, true. But you got to have enough English on it. He hadn't learned that yet.
He'll get there.
It's different from that little round soccer ball to kick and make it curve.
He's got a few games.
He's got about at least 8 more games. Actually, 9 more games because the Jackets, of course, play in a 4-team district. If you're not aware of that now, but again, Jackets up 41-7 over an outmanned, and that's frankly an outmanned and mature-wise West Jessamine team. A game group of Colts, so let's don't doubt the West Jessamine Colts' heart. They have really come in here and battled. Just the size of Woodford County right now wearing on that young, thin, undersized defense for West Jessamine.
It's even hard to say undersized because
they got a couple big guys.
Woodford County's so big that it doesn't matter who they're going to play, they're going to be undersized.
Kind of makes us feel small when we see these guys in the hallway. They are that big.
No, and
they're
you have to remember,
they're all real athletic. That's what gets me. Their feet and the way they can get downfield is just the one that just drives me absolutely crazy.
And as fans come out and come out to see these games, and you see Coach Johnson stalking the sidelines and walking out there with those young men, he's 6'7".
Yeah.
And he does not look
that big
no. out there. And
his brother is a little bit shorter at about, 6'2"?
Maybe 6'2", 6'3". He's a big guy, too.
350 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Daddy's no small thing either.
Right.
And Alvis roaming the sidelines like the old days. Here's Chang down the right side, corralled at the 35 by Brody McCown, along with, there's our mystery player, number 15. I got to find out who that is. It's going to drive me crazy. And Charlie Corum as well. So a sophomore and a freshman in on the tackle, and I wish I could find out who number 15 is. Sam, do you know who the 15 is for Woodford yet? Can we find out who it is for me? It's going to drive me crazy. I got it on roster here. No number. Thank you. Producer Casey Cooley. We might want to say that.
Not just producer.
Media teacher. You know how old that makes me feel? I remember when he was in, 6th grade. I mean, it makes me feel old.
Well, you should feel old.
I
You're
know.
old.
I'm getting close. If you ask my brother Ryan, I got one foot in the grave already.
Well, I don't know if you're that old.
No, but I'm close. 3 receivers to the left side. They bring the receiver around, and that's James E. Swinzel, a 5'7.5" freshman, and pretty good form tackle from Michael Eldridge. Drops him after a gain of 2, maybe 3.
Michael Eldridge's job out there is to do just exactly what he just did, is hold that edge and turn everything back inside. And if they bring it to you, tackle them.
How many times you heard a coach scream, stay at home, as an outside linebacker? And Eldridge did that to perfection. We have McCown along with J.T. Jones, the corners now. Malik Richards still at the safety. We have Ryan Duke, a 5'10" freshman, number 10 in black. Looks like he's playing the strong safety right now. They turn, give it off to Chang. Dances through the hole. Somebody had a face mask.
Yep.
It looked like Eldridge may have had it.
It's going to be a 15-yarder.
Yeah. Somebody said, well, how can you – that's not Chang. That is actually – yeah, it is Chang, number 5.
Yep.
Looked like number 6. Boy, those numbers on the back of West Jessamine jerseys are so small.
Going to see some switch out.
Yeah, we got a fire sale going on. We've got a ton of people coming out. Jaden Hamilton was in there just a minute ago, a sophomore, number 42 for Woodford. I kind of like the gold pants look from Woodford with the black helmets and the black jerseys. Don't mind the all black, but kind of going back to the old school with the gold pants that my younger brother, Ryan, wore in his days. They throw it out there and almost intercepted. Who was that? Was that Jones that jumped the route and darn near picked it off? And we have a flag behind the play at about the 39-yard line in a game that's gotten ugly with flags going everywhere now.
Again, you get in a game like this and you hope that the teams can hold it together, and you hope that a team like West Jessamine, when you're down like this, it's a hard spot to be in. And these young men, their pride's hurt. They're down 41-7, and they're not feeling real good. They're trying to get a shot in there. You hope that folks can hold it together, but you're going to see this. Now it's up to the team that's not being the offending team to kind of say, I'm not going to participate in that. Right. I'm here to play a game. I'm here to play football, and you guys aren't going to bait me into that. So hopefully we see some class as we hold it together, because we've got another quarter of play here.
And if you're Dennis Johnson in Woodford County, you've got a big rival coming into your house who you haven't beaten in 4 years.
Right. And you've come close. I mean, these are not
last
games.
year they were a couple of yards away, a 2-point conversion away from winning.
Yeah. And a broken touchdown, that was broken. It got called back from a block in the back from winning that game.
Right.
And
so
I think
we expect a big crowd here next week as well.
Even in the days of Ryan Timmons, you saw close games in that. So this is a big
Here's
rival.
A throw across the middle. That is number 12, Cameron Deal, one of the few seniors on this West Jessamine team. Takes it down to the 29-yard line, a gain of 19. Actually, they're giving the 30, make it 18.
We said something about West Jessamine trying to hold together, have some pride. Now, Woodford County's got to hold together and know how to be ahead.
Yep.
When you play in a game like this, you got to know how to play when you're ahead, and that's something that can also be tough. And one of the things you can't do is play loose like that play right there. And so hopefully, Woodford County's learning some lessons.
Because the competition will step up next week.
Right, exactly. Woodford County's going to learn some lessons.
Let's just put it this way. The first road game of the year in 2 weeks from today is at Marion County, who came into your house last year and beat you on almost the final play of the ball game.
Right.
And they were playing for their coach, who was parked in his van over there. who lost his battle against cancer 2 weeks after that win. So they gave their coach a huge win in their program.
Great job stretching it out.
They give it off to Swinzel. And he'll get down back, it looks like, to the original line of scrimmage. We've got another flag, and this is on Dominic Johnson, I believe.
Yeah, it might be on. It's either going to be on Dominic Johnson or
Dominic
it's
was
on either place. 1 and 2 out there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's on Woodford County one way or the other. Daniel Weigel was the big 6'7", 275-pound tackle who I didn't see a really severe hit, but it was behind the play, so that's why they're going to call it. But Weigel, if he's not going to play football anywhere in the future, he can have a job as an actor on the stage because he went down like he had been just smoked.
Yeah, I think that we had 1 and 2 over there.
Yeah, I don't know who they called it on, but that's one of those penalties you have to clean up as you move into the season because you've got 3 district games. You're going to make, here's the bad thing about a 14 district. You get in the playoffs whether or not you win the district or not. Flags everywhere. Jones is dropped by Johnson, who makes up for, if that was him, in fact, that got the personal foul, he makes up for it with a really nice shoestring tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we're going to see what they call. I saw the flags come out pretty quickly there.
And they were on the far side of the field from where John another personal foul against Woodford, it looks like.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think that was the initial signal. Let's see. It happened away from the ball.
I don't think that flag's been acknowledged yet. I think we've got 2 flags.
Is there
down.
a flag somewhere else over here? I don't see one on the near side. There's 2 flags on the far side.
I saw 2 flags come down, and there were a couple conversations. I don't know why he's talking to this. This guy still got his flag in his pocket.
Yeah, but the 2 guys on the far, the back judge and the linesman on the far side threw their flags. So let's see what we've got here. I was asked by somebody why did we get out of the stadium here at 11 o'clock? I said, well, one of the issues was there was such a big crowd here that there was a traffic jam, and the police, the local police here, were doing a great job of getting people out here, but it took time. But it's away from the play.
I didn't see that. He was covered up, and I didn't see him make the call.
I didn't see it either.
Looks like a 10-yard.
Coach Dennis Johnson wanting to know what the flag is about, and his head shake tells me.
Well, Woodford County's got to show some character here. They've got to step up and show who they are. They're not a team they're not a personal foul getting team. They're a classy team.
Right.
And they've really got to show that.
Well, I'm just wondering still if we're getting that little bait and switch thing from West Jessamine. Jones throws it out on the screen out there to.
Oh, they gave him the outside.
Yep, and touchdown. That is Deal. Jonathan Deal. And a flag in the far corner of the end zone, and it's probably an unsportsmanlike celebration penalty because there wasn't anybody around him, and he kind of gave the little Superman ripping your shirt open.
Oh, did he? No, they're calling that against Woodford County.
Really?
Yep. I think he may have had a hit after the touchdown.
You got to be smarter than that too. That's this right now. We've got some guys who've played some football. Now you got some guys in the secondary, in the linebacking core that had some playing time a year ago, but not a ton of it. The only one really with a lot of time, maybe Leo Smart and Amir Burnaby.
Amir played a little bit in the inside. He also played outside. Leo played inside late.
Right.
But didn't.
But
see
he
a lot
had
of
some
field
time, but not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the only 2 with really any time in that back 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some guys that have got to learn. Chang for the extra point. A line drive, and it goes wide left. I hesitate to say wide left because of all those guys with all the Florida State stuff. Wide left, wide right. But it's 41-13 with 1:08 to play, and Woodford County should move to 1-1. But right now, if you're Coach Dennis Johnson and his staff, the one thing you should focus on, 2 things. One is this game has been chippy basically from the start.
Right.
So you got to make sure you get out of here with everybody healthy and intact. And 2, you got to make sure they keep their composure and not get flagged and ejected. Mm-hmm. So you have everybody ready to go healthy next week for Franklin County.
Yep, and honestly, you also are building. When you're a first-year coach,
plus character,
you're also building that character, and you want the team to be known as a team of character.
Right.
And
you want to play an aggressive.
Right.
But you got to learn the difference between aggressive and I don't want to say dirty, but what's another word that goes with it?
Well, honestly, just say undisciplined.
There you go.
And I think
that's a much better word.
You want to see disciplined play and bring the class to the game.
Right, and then and if you do that, you get the reputation. Okay, this team's going to play hard. They're going to knock your head off when the play's going, but when the play's dead, they're going to back it off a little bit. Anything? Let's see. Fleming County 30, Mason County nothing. Of course, Mason County lost their head coach, Philip Buchanan, to Mercer County this year. So St. X over Henry Clay, 40-13 in the Bluegrass Bowl. Kind of surprises me. It doesn't surprise me St. X beats Henry Clay. The differential kind of surprises me. Is there any? Johnson Central 41, Fairland out of Proctorville, Ohio 6. That doesn't surprise me. There's one. Here's from our other side. Highlands beats Campbell County 38-15. That's a couple of Georgetown College graduates going head to head. Stephen Lickard at Campbell County, and I forgot the head coach at Highlands. Just went totally blank. It used to be Dale Mueller.
Yeah.
Gary Ball, if you're listening, your Rebels took it on with the chin again tonight. Connor 43, Boone County 6. Sorry, Gary. Long time broadcast area. North Oldham 45, County 6. And Woodford recovered the onside kick. The kid who recovered as a player is number 29, Gage Thompson, 5'10", 150-pound sophomore. Wes Carter, 48, Powell, 13. Is Franklin County played? Is there a game in yet?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know who they were playing tonight. But scores and things coming in. Pikeville, that's Pineville, one of my favorite high school nicknames, the Mountain Lions.
Fleming County winning big tonight.
Fleming County, the Panthers up there. You and I, you took the scenic tour when we went up there and played.
That's right.
You took the back roads. Mac and I took the interstate.
It's one of the best drives I've had through Kentucky.
The one interesting thing we learned while up there doing that game that night from the people there, it's the covered bridge capital of the world.
That's right.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
You would think Switzerland or someplace like that, but
Woodford County took home a win that night.
Frank, that's the introduction of Kane.
Maxbury?
No, the quarterback. I can't remember. Kanan.
Kanan Hudson.
Kanan Hudson. That was the night he came in as a freshman, took control of the huddle.
Yep.
Big time.
So you were talking about trivia earlier.
Personal foul on Woodford County, I think, on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Oh, they forgot to enforce it on the kickoff.
Yeah.
After the touchdown.
Yeah. And you were talking about trivia earlier, related to West Jessamine.
Yep.
Twice, Woodford County in the last 5 years has had coaches who come from Woodford County.
Yeah, Graham Heasley.
And
Trent Fields.
There you go.
Who's up in the press box. I said, charge him $100 for being up here.
Former quarterback.
And sneaking in on us. He snuck in us. We all had our backs turned to him.
Former quarterback at Woodford County High School. He was leading the team when I first started teaching at Woodford County about 10 years ago.
Yeah, and tough as nails. And Coach Dennis Johnson out one explanation for what happened and not getting any satisfaction just by telling by his body language. Here's a big one. A 3A Bourbon County over 5A Pulaski Southwestern 30-29. And that was at what my favorite name of a field, the Reservation, the Warriors of Southwestern. That's a big win for Bourbon County, who everybody thought it was going to be in a rebuilding mode after graduating several seniors off of last year's team that got beaten in the regional by Belfry. There was one I saw a minute ago. I think scroll up there, Andy, please.
This way? These are all yesterday's scores. Thursday games.
Paducah Tillman over McCracken County 21-7. I'm kind of jealous of McCracken County. You seen the indoor practice facility that they have down there?
Here we go with
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Second
Chang kicking, going to kick one of those moon balls. Depp will take it at the 25 and then goes to his knees as that mystery player, 21 in white for West Jessamine. I wish we could learn his name. Nobody up here knew it. For West Jessamine goes flying over him. A future opponent for the Jackets, Madison Central, big over Paul Lawrence Dunbar, 47-6. That kind of surprises me there. Paul Raines will get that Dunbar program turned around. It's going to take him a couple of years before I think he really gets his team together. The former Marine, I should say. And he is a big man. Have you ever seen Raines up close?
No.
My goodness.
Well, here we go. Woodford County on
First
offense.
and 10 at the
First
25.
We still got a minute left
Actually,
in the third.
try the 24. I formation. Johnson dots the I behind Eldridge, the fullback. That's a 165-pound fullback.
Is that Eldridge?
Yeah. 5'9" senior. He gets maybe 2.
Looks like Coach wants to keep things tight. He went to no splits and just said, line them up and see what we can get. And he got 4 yards on a push.
Got a new lineman in there for the Jackets. And I believe he's over the ball at center. And he actually pushed Ryan Mix. Jack Hill, 5'9", 228, and a sophomore is the center. Joe still at the guard on the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's gained some weight. He looks like he's filling out.
Younger brother of Nate. Unfortunately for Nate, he was hurt predominantly the last 3 years he was here. Johnson up the middle, goes behind Eldridge, breaks a tackle over the 35 to the 37. Give Johnson a first down carry. I wonder, we need to probably try to get word. No, we won't do that. We'll keep that to ourselves. But Wingfield, 4 touchdowns on the ground in the first half and has not been a part of the offense here in the second half. I think he had the 1 pass reception for a touchdown.
It's okay to keep him off the field early. You want to make sure that, you keep him back early, let him get his numbers, get his touchdowns.
Right.
But this is a good game to get your other backs in the game, and get them some experience, especially if you've got some youth there.
Yeah.
And you've got some seniors there. I mean, Eldridge is a senior, and some other seniors that need some time. They need some reps. They were behind an amazing running back core last year, and they need some game time.
Well, you've got in at quarterback for the first time in 2015, a freshman, Ryan Duke, number 10 in black, and they're going to let the clock run out here on the third quarter. Duke, 5'10" freshman, 129 pounds. And he is seeing his first varsity action, and think about the butterflies in that young man's stomach right now.
Well, he's probably happy he's coming into a game where Woodford County only has 41 points on the board. He's not coming into a situation where he's got to do something.
But you also have to get him some time because, unfortunately, the reality is he's one hit away from being the starter should something happen to Trey Thurman, God forbid. Right. And you throw a freshman into the fire with no reps in game action outside of maybe a freshman game. The nerves are going to be there. And I'll tell you what, I know his mother and father, and if he's anything like his daddy, he's tougher than nails, number one. And number two, those butterflies in his stomach will be gone after the first hit he gets.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get that.
Or he gets his first pass completion, whichever comes first.
And he's got a good group of freshmen.
He does.
He's got a good group of linemen in there to take care
of him. We haven't talked about this freshman group, male and female. They won a ton of titles last year in the Bluegrass Conference of the middle school ranks. And I'm telling you, I've heard all kinds of good things about athletics with this freshman group coming in. So the future looks bright. Mm-hmm. The key is keeping them all out for 4 years.
That's right.
On all levels, football, whatever.
So far, when you bring in a new coach, you inject some new energy into the feeling of the community come in and keep people out. People want to be out there.
That's evidenced by the crowd we've had both nights the last 2 weeks. And then you look at the student body, who, again, is out here in full force. Mm-hmm. They're going to say offsides against West Jessamine, so it'll be 1st and 5 for the Jackets.
Yeah, and I think Coach Johnson is perfectly happy, getting his yards this way, making his, go ahead and taking this game into his own hands and slowing it down a little bit. I'm sure he'd like to see some time come off the clock.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That was on purpose to put that defensive line on their heels a little bit.
You have Duke at quarterback. You have a brand-new Eldridge, the fullback, Johnson, the tailback, one a senior, one a junior, and then you got Jack Hill in at center right now. Duke completes his pass out here to the former backup quarterback, Brady McCown, and another flag behind the play. Now, this new rule is going to drive me insane until they figure out exactly what's going on with personal fouls, because some of these are not.
Goodness.
Yeah,
I didn't. What was that? Was that again, behind the? Was that behind the?
It's behind
play?
the play, but I was told the rule said if you're 30 yards away from the play, that's when the rule is going to be enforced. This was right in the middle of everything. So I don't understand the personal foul unless an offensive lineman grab somebody and throw them down.
He's got to get some people in there. He's going to rotate some folks through.
Coming into the ball game for the Jackets is Ryan Mix again, and they're going to get Matt Stratton now. That's who they call it. I assume that's the only thing you can assume is when they take somebody out of the line like that, that was the guilty party.
Yep.
Now, I will say this about Matt. He's not a dirty player. He is one of the nicest young men you'll meet off the field. You put that helmet on, it becomes a different animal.
That's true. And he's generally a really good leader.
A really good, nice young man, too. Yeah, I mean, like I said, can't say so much about his daddy. But no, Doug, I didn't say anything bad about you, buddy. I've known Doug since I was literally born. I don't want to have that big man up here after me. They toss sweep around. It's just good old student body right. Johnson behind his blocker. Splits the two blockers down the sideline over midfield into West Jessamine territory about the 47. That's the way you run a toss sweep.
Yep. Now, is Johnson, he's a freshman or a sophomore? Junior. Okay, so he's coming in with coach as a junior.
Mm-hmm. Tab, now get this, he's playing running back here, but Tab is one of the best receivers in Lexington until his dad got the job here. And they're playing him a little bit of receiver, but as you notice on that left arm, that huge club, broke I think he broke his hand, got it caught between two helmets, and said it probably about two, 3 weeks before that will come off. Receivers to either side, the tight end to the right. They give it off on the dive play to the fullback, Eldridge. Breaks it out to the right side, inside the 35 to the 32-yard line.
Eldridge sniffing a little daylight there, decided to go ahead and turn it on. He's pretty quick. He's deceptively fast.
Yeah.
And
he's long and lanky. You know, they only list him at 5'9", but he looks taller than that.
Yeah, I think he's a little taller than that. He may have been 5'9".
Maybe because of his legs. You know, he's got one of those short torsos and longer legs, so maybe deceiving height-wise. But you go from a 220-pound fullback who knock your block off by putting his face mask between your numbers to Eldridge, who's elusive as a fullback. Same formation. They give it off again to Eldridge. Spins off a tackle. Flag flies. A couple of them.
That's that umpire hold down.
Yeah, with the referee threw one as well. Personal foul, face mask against West Jessamine.
Oh, wow.
I thought I saw Eldridge when he made the spin. His head kind of jerk around, but I thought that may have been just the violence of the spin move he made. But
well, the Woodford County second team here are part,
that second team backfield. Yeah, well, you can't even call them second team backfield because they're both as talented as the two guys who are.
And they all see time, so it's just not fair. But they've got kind of a Frankenstein offensive lineman in there right now. Offensive line in there. They've got some starters and they've got some guys who
you got some thoroughbreds in that backfield with those two, with Johnson and with Eldridge.
We've got a sophomore center getting some time with the freshman quarterback, and
freshman quarterback looks pretty confident too. Threw that first pass, hit his receiver out here on the numbers. They have a wing back now with a single back Johnson. They're going to pull Sage Young, and Johnson cuts it up inside the 5, inside the 3, might have gotten to the 1.
They're going to put him down at the 1.5.
Yeah, Sage Young was pulling to in front of Johnson and saw this blur go by and did say kind of looking, what? Where'd you
I'll tell you what, man. Sage Young.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Sage Young coming around the end there. That's not something anybody wants to see. That's a
big man.
Yep.
315 pounds of Sage Young. All 5 of these linemen go somewhere and play at the club.
Yeah.
We know about Drake. Verbally committed to UK. And held his own out in Oregon against the number 1 defensive lineman in the country who is signed with Alabama. Turn, give it off to Johnson, right tackle, touchdown, Woodford County. Went right behind the right tackle, and I'm not sure who the right tackle was. That was Drake Jackson. He and the right guard, and I believe that was Sage Young, who just collapsed the pocket. Just totally washed out the left side of that Jessamine defense. 47-13 with 9:47 to play, Woodford County. Now don't get all gung-ho over this score right now.
Well,
as we mentioned, next week, this is a young West Jessamine team. Lost a lot of players from a year ago to graduation.
And Woodford County's had their number for a while.
Last
year went down there and
struggled, but won.
Mm-hmm. And got a defensive performance out of Woodford County to take home the win down there.
Lippert with the extra point, good. 48-13, Woodford County. Do we have the running clock now? Is it 36 points?
It's 36 is what it's got.
Point. The band's still here. I love that. Absolutely love it. And they've got a long day tomorrow down in Columbia, Kentucky at Adair County High School. So if you're out and about and you're down that direction, swing by Adair County High School and cheer on the band, who I don't know what their show title is this year, but whatever they were working on with John Bomer, Michael Collins came in and said, let's go with it. I'm not going to change anything. We'll work with what you guys have been working on all year. John Bomer, by the way, was listening last week and asked me why we weren't online. I just said we had some technical issues. And, John, I hope you're listening tonight and enjoying the broadcast. He's actually teaching at a middle school in Lexington. Mm-hmm. He and his wife and their son.
Yep. His wife is still here.
Is she still teaching here?
She's still at Simmons. She's a music teacher at Simmons. And my daughter had the opportunity to work with her. She's amazing.
Now we talk about your daughter. Mention your daughter's names. You mentioned your wife's name, Jill. You have to mention your daughter's name.
Maya and Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy's
the shy one.
Okay.
She acted shy today.
Yeah.
Might be a little tired. Long day for Ivy.
It's a long day, yeah.
Yeah. I tell you who she does, when her personality comes out, at times she reminds me of your father-in-law.
Okay.
Ed.
Yeah. Yeah.
She kind of gives you a little zing every so often. You know what I'm saying? Ed could do that, and you go, wait a minute. An hour later, you go, wait a minute.
Now she wants to come up here. She wants to come up here and put the headphones on and talk.
Oh, okay. Is that what she wants to do?
Yeah.
I'll bring her up here.
Matt got her on last year a little bit and talked to her.
Yeah.
And she was got the bug.
Here's our mystery player again, and I swear, I promise, got folks in Nicholasville. I apologize for not having his number, but we have a roster here with nothing on it. He has a good return from the 15 to about the 34-yard line. Can you hear the name? So we have one on either side. My goal next week is, before next Friday night, is to find who 15 in black is. So 1st and 10, West Jessamine, who trail at 48-13. Jackets 9.5 minutes away from going 1-1 on the young season. I think a lot of people thought heading into the Franklin County game, Woodford will easily be 2-0. But that North Bullitt team did not look like a team that won only one game a year ago. Mm-hmm. I was very impressed with the Eagles. Give it off to Chang, who's going to probably need an ice bath after this one is over.
Now both teams going to the ground here, trying to run this one down. I think that West would probably prefer having a running clock at this point.
I agree.
Getting that point, but
don't know who West Jessamine plays next week. They will play. I don't have their schedule here in front of me.
No, and this is going to slow down the game a little bit more.
We got somebody with another cramp.
Yep.
Everybody think, we've had a unseasonably cool start to this football season. Last week was remarkably comfortable. Mm-hmm. Tonight's not too shabby.
Right. The
long-range forecast for next week seems to be pretty good as well as far as the humidity is concerned. And we've had huge crowds both nights. It's thinned out a little bit now with Woodford County firmly in control of this one. But, let's look ahead now. There's a couple of things I think Woodford needs to shore up. Number one, they need to shore up some unwanted and undisciplined type penalties next week against Franklin County, who will bring a totally different style in here. They'll have some athletes on the side of the ball.
Franklin County's always had speed.
They'll have some speed. They won't have huge linemen, but they'll have some athletic linemen, which, if Woodford does what they've done in the first two games and pays attention to being physical up front, running the football, and taking the attitude of we're going to wear this team down in the second half with our size up front, then I think
we'll see. I mean,
this ball club has a chance at ending that losing streak to Franklin County next week.
And you always got to remember that Coach Tracy over there, he's a factor on his own. He's a heck of a coach, and he does a good job getting ready game to game, and he likes to throw the ball around.
This one especially is meaningful to him, And it's
coaching a place for as long as he did here, and then heading over to Franklin County, and he's a good coach, and we'll see what I'm sure Coach Johnson is anxious to coach against him.
Bunch formation here to the right side. Woodford blitz coming from the outside. Jones avoids the first wave and skips over the tackle from J.B. Hudson, who is in for the Jackets for the first time tonight, and gets the first down at the West Jessamine 48-yard line.
That may have been a designed run.
Could have been a quarterback draw. 47-yard line they make it. So 1st and 10 for West Jessamine with 9:03 to play. If I'm not mistaken, that East-West Jessamine rivalry game is either the 4th or 5th week of this football season.
Well, there's some nefarious activity on the sideline here. You think the guys might want to be giving Coach Johnson a bath on his first win as a Yellow Jacket?
Yeah, let me advise. No, too big a man to be doing that too.
Well, who got tall enough to get it over his head?
Who's
going to participate?
Well, who's the one wacky enough to? Probably Matt Stratton. He's the one tall enough. He's closer in height. But I don't care. That's a big man, and I'm not gonna. No.
Yeah. You've got. Looks like his quarterback is filling it up.
That would not be smart, Trey. I'm telling you, that man at that age can still move.
Give him. I think right on the field. I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Gain of 8 for West Jessamine, down and short. Tight end to the left. Actually, they got double tight ends. Bunch receivers to the right side. Jones back to throw. Hill after him, can't get free. Here's Jones, gets a block from Swinzel, and then was starting to give himself up as Lee Kane comes up and makes the hit to put him down at the 35. 1st and 10 for West Jessamine at the Woodford County 36-yard line. 7:59 to play.
Regardless of what happens here, Coach Johnson wants to see his defense step up and make a stop.
Jai Burgess, 22 in black. We also have Lee Kane, as I mentioned. We have J.T. Jones as well. We have, trying to get some of these young men's names. Jack Hill is in it on the defensive line. Let's see, James Washington, 6'1", 285, and a sophomore. And Jones, if he turns his head, has got an interception going the other way.
Yeah. Now you wanted the hit. That's good. That's a defensive player right there for you. You want the hit.
Yep. But he took the ball right in the ear hole. If he turns his head around, he's got the ball going the other way, and I don't know if he gets away from Swinzel or not, but he's got a shot at 6. Who else is in there? 42 in black is Jaden Hamilton, 5'10", 190-pound sophomore. 42 in black. We've got J.B. Hudson, as I mentioned, for the Jackets. Hudson, 6'1", 318, a senior. Got Corum there in the middle, number 14, playing the Mike linebacker. Pick up the other 2 linebackers. Is that Lee Kane over there on the outside? Nope, that's our unidentified player, number 15. Here's Chang. Inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Did you ever find out who 15 was? That's your assignment for next week. Find out who's number 15 in black. We have 14 and 16, and then we skip, and there's no 15. I want to find out who it is because I don't want Mom and Daddy up here in the press box with me going, you need to mention my son's name. They may have had a number change when the roster was printed, so who knows. Yeah, he's out there at the right outside linebacker, walking up in the gap there between the guard and the tackle on the far side. They throw down the middle of the field, incomplete for the tight end, number 82, Justin Gray. In pressuring Jones was Jacob Woodford. Final from over in Stanford. Boy, how the mighty have fallen. Boy, for about 15, 20 years. Down there in Death Valley, Lincoln County was dangerous. They lose to East Jessamine tonight 37-9. North Bullitt moves to 2-0 in the season with a 28-9 win down in Louisville. Actually, they have, down in Louisville over Southern. Give it off to Chang. Cuts it back, runs right into Corum. Drops him at the 18. Gain of 6 for Chang. Sprinting in from the sideline for Woodford. Also, we have number 40. 88 is Justin Tackett, a freshman, 5'9", 175. Also having in the ballgame Trevor Welch, a 5'11 sophomore for the Jackets, number 40 in black. Boy, I'm trying to, let's see. We got a bunch of fresh faces in here.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good news is all the names I can pronounce. Jones throws it off here in the flat. That's number 85. That is Greer Stone. I tell you, I've been impressed with Stone, a young freshman tight end for West Jessamine. Put a little size on the young man. A little more weight on him. He'll be a really tough one. Paris moves to 2-0 with a 13-7 victory over Holmes. Okay, we found out finally. Number 11 was 15. On the roster. 15 now is Dawson Switzer. I promise I'll get it right before the end of the year. Sophomore, 5'5", 157 pounds. And he jogs off just as I get his name right. Wow. Who found it out? Good job, guys. Sam over here, Sam Smith and Casey Cooley on that one.
Yep, working it.
Yep.
Madison Southern's playing tonight.
Madison Southern losing right now to Garrett County, 28-7. I believe that is a final.
Yep.
Down in Berea. The post-Damian Harris era. Franklin County playing Western Hills. Franklin County, I believe that's a final, 20-7 over Western Hills. I tell you what, Don Miller's getting the numbers up over there at Western Hills. If he can get them to stay consistent, he's done a really nice job over there with that Western Hills program. J-Town over Iroquois, 18-0.
Coach Stonebreaker
got his first win down there. He's with his fourth-string quarterback. He lost the top three in the very scrimmage they had. He lost his top quarterback to a knee injury, lost the number 2 quarterback to suspension for the year, and then he lost his third-string quarterback with a broken leg. Screen it to Chang over the 35, gets it to the 30. It'll be fourth down and about 16 coming up for the Colts.
It's important to point out most football teams, most high school football teams, don't have a fourth string. That's probably a receiver, a converted receiver, or a running back. Or
either that or a lineman that Coach Stonebreaker has converted into. I wouldn't put anything past Stoney, to be honest with you, when it comes to that, because he'll tweak offense. John Stork, a freshman, number 77, 5'9", 185, and a freshman in on the tackle there, the younger brother of Daniel. Mm-hmm. Not as tall yet. Ooh. That one out, we need to give that one out here in a minute.
All right.
Jones back to throw. Gets hit as he throws. He has Swinzel open for the touchdown. So the freshman gets his first score of his varsity career for West Jessamine on the 31-yard touchdown strike from Jones.
It's safe to say that Woodford County doesn't have their top defense out there right now.
Well, Gage Thompson, the sophomore, came blitzing in from his linebacker spot and pulled up as Jones was releasing the ball, afraid of a personal foul penalty. I'm sure
these guys are your sophomores. These are
sophomores
and
freshmen. Yeah, and that, again, this freshman group and this sophomore group both very talented, just young. Chang will now add the extra point, and it's 48-20 Woodford County with 4:51 to play in the ball game. The game I want to give you, this one kind of surprising, but it didn't really surprise me. Anderson County 27-26 over George Rogers Clark. We want to tell everybody that will be the last home game of the regular season for the Jackets. And it comes in late September. Mm-hmm. And that being senior night as well as homecoming.
Yep.
Both taking place on the same night. As we mentioned, the first 3 at home, the next 2 Marion County and Nelson County on the road. Then the Jackets come home to take on Madison Central. Then they have a week off, which is the first week of October. The first Friday of October, I believe, is the 2nd. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Then they come home and they'll play Anderson County for that senior night homecoming finale.
Homecoming is the 25th of September this year.
Right, but I'm talking about – you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was told they were having both on the same night.
25th of September is.
You might be right.
It's my youngest daughter's birthday.
That's the only reason why you remembered.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say it was my anniversary. I better not forget it.
No, not that.
But then they go on the road for 3. They'll go to Madison Southern, which is in Berea, folks, not Richmond. Berea, just remember. And then they go to Montgomery County.
Uh-huh.
And then a new team on the schedule, and thank goodness we missed the team last year for this team, Central Hardin down in Elizabethtown. They had their best team in school history. Mm-hmm. I think they finished something like 11-2.
Yeah,
and the starting quarterback is now going to be on the depth chart over at Georgetown College for Bill Cronin. So that's the schedule. It's a weird schedule, but hey, it is what it is, right? They'll squib it on the ground and back deep. This is Nash to return it, and Depp says go down. Don't think D wanted Ben to break his.
No,
I think it's just possession's 9/10 of the law, and now the junior puts his hand on the back of Nash because Nash is looking like, what are you telling me to go down for? I had a seam. I could have taken it.
No.
And D's just patting him on the back going, it's okay. It's okay. Right. I'll tell you what, if you've ever met her, and I know you've been around D, but if any of the fans have been around D outside of his family, outside of the school building, what a guy with a personality. And he's got this smile that kind of attracts you to him at first, and then you find out he's just kind of quiet.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good kid.
He has this quiet demeanor about him, but once he gets to know you, that personality starts coming out, and you see this little – I see his Uncle Charlie in him a lot. And, of course, his mom was a pretty good athlete here, played volleyball, basketball, and ran track, Chantel. Horse-collared around the shoulder pads is number 29. That is Gage Thompson with his first carry of the night, and actually of his career. Sophomore, yeah.
He was a defensive specialist for the freshmen last year, and
I heard he had some big hits in some big games that created turnovers.
Yeah,
you actually coached that group, didn't you? A year ago?
The freshman?
Yeah.
I didn't have too much to do with it. I did coach Gage at outside linebacker a little bit,
and they got him. They got him.
Yeah.
And why does it not surprise me? Sunshine had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
Jacob, there's the one. If that answers the question, that's the one who had the nerve to do it.
Uh-oh.
Here's a tackle broken at the 30, to the 40, to the 45, and slung out of bounds. That is Corman. He had his head snapped back and hit the turf. Boy, I tell you. And Walker Terhune, the trainer on staff in the building,
they're going to get his hat off.
Immediately came over to him because Corman was headed back to the playing surface.
Yeah.
So Corman with a huge carry to the 48 of West Jess.
Worth to point out, Coach got the little shower there, got the bath, got the ice bucket on the corner there, on the sideline. That's got to feel good. First win as a Yellow Jacket for him, and
now if you're the linesman on this side, the official, you're caught between the two Johnson brothers. Not a place to be. And they're giving it to him in stereo because that was really a late, should have been a personal foul on the West Jessamine kid. Here's Eldridge down to the 26-yard line, giving 22. Woodford ripping off big runs. They had 314 yards rushing in the first half of the Jackets. But that should have been a personal foul penalty because if that ever exemplified the penalty there, that was well out of bounds when he let Corum fly. Now Barnhart, Coach Barnhart, who is the freshman coach, he's actually going to be taking over a lot of the duties of coaching the freshman team, but he's a big man too.
Yeah. Well, this is.
Was he go about 240?
Yeah. And it's nice for the senior to get in there and get some yards. I mean, that's just good times.
I'm looking down at Corum down here, and he is
good times.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I don't see Walker looking at him. Do you?
I think he was just checking, making sure
he's still here in front of us.
He's going through the protocol, double checking. But Walker Terhune is a professional. He's
Top
really
quality.
good at what he does, and he knows when to come over and double check somebody for a concussion. Look at him for right now he's checking him out. And every player
could have been a whiplash thing too, where his head snapped back.
Every player who he thinks has had a headshot, he's going to put through the protocol. It doesn't matter.
If you show a little bit of
it doesn't matter. If he sees it, if he sees somebody go down, he's going to put you through it. He's going to make sure everybody's safe on the football field. That's his job, and that's what he's doing right now. And Walker Terhune is just one heck of a professional.
And that gives us somebody to talk about the University of Kentucky Sports Medicine Clinic. They are the ones who provide training staffs or trainers to be in-house at the various high schools in Central Kentucky, and Walker's a part of that group.
They're mostly freshmen here running.
Yep. I formation. They give it off on the sweep. Timing is off.
Is that Jai?
That's Jai Lewis. Brain dead. It says that Jai. I called his name earlier. Jai Burgess. Is that who that was on the carry? No, that's number 6. That's number 5.
Yep.
That is Zion Higgins.
Oh, okay.
6'2", 171-pound freshman. Moved in here to be with his father. Woodford County fans will remember the name, Jonathan Higgins. Mm-hmm. A 3-year starter for the Jackets at quarterback in the days of the Veer. And Zion, you want to talk about a young-looking athlete. My goodness. And he's a legit 6'2". I think that's Woodford. No, that's McCown dotting the back of the eye, it looks like. Nope. That's Welch.
First man through.
Gets off the ball low, which is very tough for young linemen to learn to stay low when you come off the line. A lot of them want to straighten up as soon as they come off, but he looks like he has a pretty good technique coming off the line. So
we got 40 seconds left
40
here.
Seconds. So
I think
you've got some things to work on if you're Coach Dennis Johnson for next week. One, keep in your head. Do not react to things happening to you and getting personal fouls costing the team.
This is one of those games that some coaches would look at and go, okay, they're gonna clear the field and might be running after this one. With that number of personal fouls, there are coaches out there who'd be like, we'll line them up on the goal line, run a couple sprints, and get that out of them because you're up. You got to play with class. You got to play this game.
And you got to remember, if you get ejected, you're out. Not only the rest of that game, but the next one.
Welch is lucky he didn't get ejected on that one because he threw a shot at his head.
Well, he faked the toss sweep. Duke rifles it, and a nice diving catch. Atta boy, lay out there and get it. That's Richie.
Did a great job on that.
Yeah, buddy.
Going after the football. Going and get it.
No, that's Guadagni.
Is that Guadagni?
That was Guadagni.
All right, so we've got.
Wow. Nice catch.
Defense.
Over on downs, but, man, what a throw by Duke. And then what an effort from Guadagni, who gets a high five from one of the elder statesmen of the receiving corps, D. Depp.
Yep.
Sounds strange as a junior say the elder statesman.
Well, when it comes to those skill spots, I mean, that's young. That's the position we're presenting. We've got an all-senior line, a couple of senior running backs, and then everybody else is really young, and you've got juniors and sophomores all over the place.
We haven't talked about that. They're real small. That class is not as big in numbers as you would like.
And that's the issue at linebacker across the board. And you've got –
we haven't said that. And Jones will take a knee.
That's going to do that.
And I think Yancey Markham says, hey, we've played our hearts out. Woodford's just been too tough tonight, number one. Number two, I can't afford to get anybody hurt. I've only got 40 guys dressing. And I can't really afford to get Jones, who took every snap tonight and at times was running for his life, but looked good back there. Well, Woodford County moves to 1-1 on the season with a 48-20 victory over West Jessamine. We'll take time out. Andy and I'll be back with some final thoughts. I don't know if Coach Johnson's coming up here or not. Has anybody talked to him or not? No, he doesn't know. Okay. Well, Andy and I will have some final thoughts, get you set for next week's game with Franklin County and Matt Calvert being back. Back on Prep Spin after this timeout message. Jackets knock off West Jessamine 48-20 to move to 1-1 on the season. West Jessamine falls to 0-2. And this was started with Coach Steve Stonebreaker. Dennis Johnson has continued it this year. The team will come over and sing the fight song with what's left of the student body. They have really thinned out on Friday night after the Jackets are victorious. But some things to work on for Woodford County. Definitely cutting down on the penalties. A lot of undisciplined penalties with some late hits, some personal fouls, a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Just really got to cut down on that, especially next week. Woodford County had 314 yards of rushing in the first half. I do not know yet. I don't know if we'll get some stats from Jay real quick at halftime, but 4 touchdowns for Trey Winkfield in the first half, 198 yards on 8 carries. Pretty good average, 4 touchdowns on half your carries. Not too bad. And we have seen some elusiveness from Trey Winkfield. We have not seen, of course, he hasn't played a lot, playing behind Kane Maxbury and dealing with a knee issue the last couple of years. Some good things. Trey Thurman not asked to throw the ball a lot tonight because I think Woodford and their staff thought they could run the football consistently against West Jessamine. And it really started early. 2 plays into the ball game, 2 plays on the drive from Woodford County. The initial touchdown, 79 yards, straight up the middle from Trey Winkfield, was never touched on the play, and it was all Woodford County from that point on. They led 13-0 after 1 quarter. They led 20-7 at halftime and cruised from there. Got touchdowns also from Malik Richards, from D. Depp, Amir Burnaby, and a 2-point conversion from Trey Thurman. I can't remember if we had another touchdown from somebody else, but the Jackets pretty much in control of this one the entire game. And the key is they came up and really did what they had to do tonight. They're going to come out healthy. That's the number one point for next week, because you have a very talented Franklin County team come up here, and if you follow football in this area, especially at Woodford County for any length of time, you know what kind of rivalry this is between Woodford and Franklin. And it's just not in football, it's every sport, both male and female sports. You throw out whatever, records, points, everything. This one's going to be very physical next week. We also have to name our star of the game, and I don't think there's any doubt who our star of the game is. It's Trey Winkfield. He is our Gravis McDonald's player of the game, Trey Winkfield. Again, a huge night. He got 5 touchdowns on the night. He's got 9 in the early part of this season. 5 tonight, 4 rushing, 1 receiving, 8 carries, 198 yards, a couple receptions, I think at least 50 yards there for that. I know Kane Maxbury somewhere was listening to this one, might be in the stands down here watching. He was in dire, probably straits, of wondering if his single-game rushing record was going to be broken less than a year later, which stood for about almost 20 years. But nonetheless, that's our player of the game, Trey Winkfield. It's very well deserving. Well, next week, we mentioned before, Franklin County comes calling. It's a big one. We expect you to be here early because of Labor Day weekend. You got a 3-day weekend. Come here. Let's pack the house. I mean, let's have them hanging out on the hillside and everything else in here, because it's going to be a huge ball game. The Jackets looking for victory number 2 on the season. Franklin County comes in 2-0 next week, correct? After beating Western Hills tonight. So, for Andy Smith on color, Sam Smith getting us, along with Casey Cooley, on the air. I don't know how they did it, but those are the men right there, both of them. I mean, got not only the video but the audio on. So, Casey, first time sitting in that chair over there. Not too bad, but great job by all you guys. Our cameraman person over there. There she is. Grace? No, Grace. Gloria. I got the G right. Hey, but Gloria on camera. Great job by everybody. Mac, get your son married off tomorrow and be back next Friday, okay? So for all those guys saying the final score again, Woodford County 48, West Jessamine nothing. Darren Douglas saying so long from Community Stadium.